It's been a little over a week since we got the latest trailer for the sequel to Breath of the Wild, but most importantly, it's been a little over a week since we finally got a name to the game, Tears of the Kingdom. After much confusion, mostly from my part, we got confirmation that the name actually is Tears and not Tears, which makes it all the more easy for me to speculate on what this game's story will be about. Firstly, let's see how tears have actually been used in previous Zelda games. Famously, the Tears of Light. They were teardrops that were needed to be collected by Link to revive the spirits of light and dispel the twilight surrounding an area in Twilight Princess. It draws a further connection to Tears of the Kingdom given that we can see Link hold a sort of vial holder on his belt. Are these vials meant to be used to collect set tears much like we did in Twilight Princess? The similarities between Tears of the Kingdom's symbolism so far from what we've gathered in the trailers and the symbolism and marking from the Twilight Realm and Twilight Princess are further proof that these two games and stories may be far more connected than previously thought. But how about we get a little bit more spicy and literary? Tears, as I've said in my analysis and theories video, which you should definitely check out. I'm really proud of how that video came out, can mean a multitude of things. Tears can mean sadness, depression, longing, mourning, regret. Hell, they can even mean happiness. But I feel, and this is a hill that I've been dying on since Ocarina of Time, that this game is going to explore the evil things that the Hyrule Kingdom has done and been a part of for millennia. Thus, the tears of the kingdom, the regrets of the kingdom. The kingdom being represented by Zelda coming to terms that indeed she comes from a long line of rulers that weren't that holy or good spirited at all. I previously mentioned that Hyrule Kingdom has been in power for millennia, and if we've learned anything from both real life history and fiction, such as Game of Thrones for example, is that a family doesn't stay in power by being benevolent people to those around them. And well, to further strengthen this theory, in Ocarina of Time, we need to go to the bottom of the well as part of the journey. An eerie and spooky dungeon underneath Kakariko Village. The village known to many as the home of the Sheikah. This dungeon contains many tools and chambers which one can deduce as torture chambers due to the cages, chains, and even blood-stained floors. It is well known in Zelda lore that the Sheikah, also known as Shadow Folk, were chosen by the goddess Hylia to be the protectors and guides of the royal family of Hyrule. The Sheikah are loyal, to a fault, to the royal family, using what many may believe to be unethical means to protect them from past, present, and even future danger. In Ocarina of Time, the Shadow Temple, which is located behind the graveyard in Kakariko Village, is a historical place. A place used by the Sheikah to not only interrogate but also harm and or torture enemies of the royal family. Due to its history, it is commonly known for these two locations to be taboo to talk about by the royal family. The connection between Tears and the Sheikah is also seen on their emblem, which is an eye with 3 pointed eyelashes and a teardrop. Meaning what exactly? Does Tears of the Kingdom tell the story finally of the Shadow Folk, the Sheikah, the people forced to protect Hyrule no matter the cost to life? The people entrusted with handling the dirty business of the royal family needed to be done in order to stay in power? Do the tears represent the Sheikah of the kingdom? Ever since the first trailer we got of Tears of the Kingdom, we haven't really seen Zelda outside of the underground scenes of both Link and her exploring a cave. Can this mean that ancient spirits wronged by the royal family have come to claim what is rightfully theirs, or to enact some sort of revenge upon the last surviving member of the royal family? Will Zelda have to come to terms about the fact that her family caused so much pain to the races around them and redeem herself? Not much is known or seen from the Sheikah prior to Breath of the Wild, so I think that exploring the past of the relationship between the Sheikah and the royal family will be an interesting one to explore in this game. Now, to bring it back to the Zonai, And I know, it may be played out already, but I believe I found something that can further tie these TEERS symbols to not only the Zonai, but to the only people who live close enough to the Zonai ruins, which makes it less of a coincidence and more of a real conscious decision by the developers. Lurelin Village is a tiny fishing village secluded by towering cliffs. Many, if not most, of the village people there are fishermen and have close relationships with the Zoras and people from Hateno village. What first struck me as surprising is the amount of symbols that closely resemble the TEERS shown in the latest trailer of Tears of the Kingdom. Not only that, but in many instances, the Ouroboros-like design seen as well throughout the village. As we know, the Tears of the Kingdom logo features what seems to be two serpent-like Zonai dragons devouring each other, forming an Ouroboros. An Ouroboros is an ancient symbol depicting pretty much the same as the Tears of the Kingdom logo, a serpent or dragon-like creature eating itself from the tail, symbolizing the eternal cyclic renewal or the never-ending cycle of life, death, and rebirth. This Ouroboros and tear-like symbol being seen across much of Lurelin in clothes and buildings not only cements the idea that this village may share ties with the Zonai, mainly because of their proximity to its ruins. Are the people of Lurelin descendants of the Zonai? Did they only adopt the symbolism revered by the Zonai? Does the Ouroboros symbol represent the never-ending cycle imposed on the world by Demise and Skyward Sword? Does this mean that Tears of the Kingdom will mark the death and rebirth of the Zelda franchise as a whole? One thing is for certain, many things tie the symbolism of a tear to the legend of Zelda. From the Sheikah symbol to the Tears of Light, even to the crest of the Kokiri, all the way to Lurelin Village. What this Tears and Tears of the Kingdom are is yet to be discovered by me and or your favorite Zelda tubers. My mind still wants me to believe that this game's story will be heavily focused on the dark story of the Sheikah and the atrocities they have done in the name of the royal family. Nintendo hasn't shied away from touching heavy subjects with the Legend of Zelda series, so war crimes may not be too far-fetched to tie to this game's name. But you let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think these tears represent literal tears from the sky, as we see in some trailers where a tear is literally being dragged up from the ground into the sky? Are these tears really regrets of Zelda and finding out just the dark history of the Hyrule Kingdom? Does this game finally mean that this whole timeline is going to come to an end and hopefully a newer era in Zelda will appear? I, for one, am very excited for the future of Zelda if this is the case, because don't get me wrong, I love the story of Zelda games, but at the same time, they are very repetitive in nature, at least at the fundamental level. So any other changes that there may be included in upcoming games is very much welcome for me. But folks, I've been True Fernie. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs down, because every single bit helps. Thank you everyone for the support on my latest theory and analysis video. That is very greatly appreciated. My first gaming video on this channel was actually Zelda related. I am a huge Zelda fan. I mean, I'm wearing green. I'm wearing my gold hoop earrings, much like Link wears in most of the games. So yeah, I love talking about Zelda. Of course, my channel is mostly catered towards gaming in general, but with a heavy focus on Nintendo. But I always try and make time for some of these theory Zelda videos because they're just my favorite, to be honest. Links to my socials are down below. Please make sure to follow me on Twitter, where I spend most of my waking hours. Make sure to follow me on Twitch, where I try and stream pretty regularly, but given some recent events, I might try out YouTube streaming just to see how it is, and maybe it's a lot better for me to just keep everything together in one single platform. Also, make sure to join our Discord server, where we talk anything and everything gaming, anime, TVs, movies, anything that might interest you as my viewer. And also make sure to listen to my podcast called Search and Report, where we talk anything and everything gaming news related. Just search for Search and Report on Spotify or your favorite podcast listening app, and you'll see our logo, which is a little Game Boy with the word Search and Report above it. Well, folks, thank you. Please take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself. 7 more months. We got 7 more months and some change till Tears of the Kingdom, and all these speculation and all of this theories will probably be put to rest or age terribly. But till then, we'll be here. All right, peace.